The South African Anglican Bishop Desmond Tutu, when encouraging those locked in battle against the evils of apartheid, was often quoted as saying, "Don't give up. Don't get discouraged. I've read the end of the book. We win." The bishop was referring to the book of Revelation and the fact that the ultimate victory of the Lamb over all the powers of evil has already been determined. We're not yet at the end of the book, but one could potentially apply that reference to our passage today. And picking up in verse 9, this calls for a mind with wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 hills on which the woman sits. They are also 7 kings. 5 have fallen, 1 is, the other has not yet come. But when he does come, he must remain only for a little while. The beast who once was and now is not is an 8th king. He belongs to the 7 and is going to his destruction. One way often employed in understanding this passage is attempting to decode it historically. It begins with identifying the 7 hills upon which the woman sits with Rome, as Rome was famously built on 7 hills. From there, the 7 hills or heads are 7 kings. You could call them emperors. Once you substitute Rome in, it's exactly as John told us. The problem arises with where to begin counting. Should you begin at Julius Caesar or Augustus? And what to do about the year of 4 emperors during the Roman Civil War in 69 AD? Do we count them all or just Vespasian? For those who maintain John wrote later during the period of Domitian, that proves problematic, but works great for those who suggest an earlier date during the time of Nero, making him the most likely candidate for the king who is of verse 10. Now, ultimately, such decoding doesn't seem to be God's point in the vision. If hills and kings are just codes for Roman emperors, John's audience didn't need a message. They knew who ruled in Rome, and their towns and villages would have been filled with statues and plaques of those who led before. They didn't need a history lesson. What they needed was encouragement. Now, the point of this passage is to go beyond identifying specific rulers and proclaim that their rule is set within limits and that their end is near. Now, let's look at the text in this light. The angel tells John of 5 kings, then 1 who is. And again, we assume that's the king who ruled while John was writing. Now, as bad as he is, he won't rule forever. We know because there's someone coming after him. And if he's a terrible king, don't worry, he'll only rule for a little while. Then comes the beast, an 8th king, which the angel applies isn't currently on the scene. He's not really begun his rule, but guess what? He's going on to destruction. In other words, the angel's telling John about the end of the story, and we win. Now, at this point, John might have chimed in. I don't know about all this beast stuff, but I've seen the end of the story. That is, he's seen as much of the end as we're ever going to need. It's not even found in Revelation, but in John 19:30, when he received the drink, Jesus said, "It is finished." With that, he bowed his head and gave up his spirit. Now, if you're wondering when the beast and all the forces of evil were defeated, it's not some future date. Like maybe things are still hanging in the air. Maybe they'll be fulfilled, maybe not. The victory was won on the cross and through the empty tomb. It might be still some time yet till the game is called. It may even look at times like the enemy is winning, but don't be fooled. We know the end of the story. Jesus said it is finished, and he meant it. He's won, and we with him. Have a blessed week.